I'm Reverend Kenny Callahan, the pastor of Metropolitan Community Church of Richmond. The sacred text for this Sunday service is taken from Matthew's story, the 16th chapter, verses 21 to 28. As I read this sacred text, I was completely relating to Peter's confusion and devastation about this very hard and complex teaching of Jesus. Even now, centuries later, from the time and context in which Jesus lived and taught, I shiver as I imagine the implications of his words. What exactly was he saying to his followers then? And what exactly is he saying to us today? That he wants us to pursue suffering and death? That living a life of faith is not about living at all, but about dying? And what does it mean to deny yourself, to take up your cross and to follow in Jesus' footsteps? What does Jesus mean when he says, if you lose your life for my sake, you will find it? How is any of this relevant in today's world? Right now, I'm asking these questions in the context of a global pandemic that shows absolutely no signs of letting up. I'm asking in the context of police brutality, white supremacy, racial injustice, and gross economic inequality. And I've come to believe that to take up a cross as Jesus did is to stand in the center of the world's pain, just not to glance in the general direction of suffering and to simply stand on the sideline, but to actually enter into it, to identify ourselves with those who are aching, weeping, screaming, and even dying, to insist that our comfort isn't worth it unless the least and lost of these can share in it too. Taking up our cross means recognizing Jesus crucified and resurrected in each and every person we see around us, and in pouring our energies and our lives into alleviating their pain and helping them understand that they are loved by God more than they could ever imagine. Jesus refused to compromise his message of love, hope, and acceptance for all people. He declared solidarity with those who were oppressed, marginalized, mocked, and murdered. He healed and he loved with everything that he had within him, and we are encouraged to do the same. So the ultimate question becomes, where do we find ourselves among these crosses? Can we imagine that God's transforming love is at work within and through us as we live in a way that insists on loving God by caring for and serving those who are experiencing devastating pain and oppression? And as we do, by God's grace, we are empowered to see the impact of our actions far beyond what we ever thought possible. And as we consider the realities of others instead of focusing entirely on ourselves, and then almost like magic, we realize, this is what it means to pick up your cross, to lose your life for the sake of the gospel, and in losing it, you actually find it. Thanks be to God.